Waiting for a routine judge's okay. If and when they get it, Bossier Bank and Trust becomes the property of First National Bank. The FDIC came into town today and ordered BB&T and the Bank of Commerce in Shreveport to shut down because of bad loan practices. Most depositors were caught off guard. The parking lot of the Bossier Bank and Trust started filling early today. People had come to get their money. After handing out paychecks, some Bossier City employers had told workers to cash them then. For those who didn't listen or weren't told, 2 o'clock was too late.
Effective 2 o'clock today, I have closed the Bossier Bank and Trust Company in Bossier City and the Bank of Commerce in Shreveport.
The closing signs went up and the doors only opened one way, out.
Can you go in? Closed till Monday. Oh, gracious.
People who didn't make it in time were worried and mad.
They already notified us in time for us to get our money out ahead of time.
Leila Harrell went to Bossier Bank and Trust to pick up her Social Security money. Without it, she says it's going to be a long weekend. And it was no use running to the automatic tellers. They, too, were shut down. What's going to happen next? Well, First National Bank of Shreveport is the new owner of Bossier Bank and Trust. So for them, on Monday, everything's back to normal. But the FDIC is still trying to find a buyer for the Bank of Commerce. If they don't, the FDIC will step in again, this time to hand out money to depositors. However, customers may have to wait a while.
Well, they would probably have to wait until later in the week. In no case would they have to wait, say, until the following week.
These are the 4th and 5th bank failures in Louisiana this year. They follow the Bank of Dixie in Lake Providence in January. Also in January, First Progressive of Metairie. And in May, the First National Bank of Ruston. Is this a sign of things to come?
Banks are a reflection of the economic conditions. We at the Federal Deposit Insurance are here to make sure that depositors are in no way harmed by what may happen in the economy, circumstances beyond their control.
And again, the First National Bank of Shreveport is in the process of buying Bossier Bank and Trust. FDIC officials hope to have a buyer for the Bank of Commerce by Monday. First National President James Boughton will be holding a news conference tomorrow morning. We'll be there, and Margaret Preston will have all the latest tomorrow.
Commerce in Shreveport and Bossier Bank and Trust in Bossier City. Peggy Miles checked on the story to update us on the situation. Peggy, what's going on today?
Margaret, right now we're in a holding period for the Bank of Commerce. Since the bank closed, a new owner has been sought, but no luck so far. But they hope for a change in that situation by tonight. And for the Bossier Bank and Trust, well, depositors will be able to do their banking on Monday under a new owner. It's been a tough situation for bankers and depositors, with quite an inconvenience for some customers.
Well, it's a little bit frustrating, but I think everything will be okay. I'll just hold tight until Monday.
Is that a problem?
A little bit, but it won't be that bad.
For depositors of Bossier Bank and Trust, this is what they've been seeing. The bank's closed. But not for long. First National Bank of Shreveport bought Bossier Bank and Trust Friday, when the bank had to be closed because of too many bad loans. This morning, First National Bank management met with Bossier Bank and Trust workers to start the changeover, making everybody First National Bank employees on Monday.
To reassure the new customers of First National Bank, formerly Bossier Bank and Trust, First National Bank hurriedly changed the signs in all BB&T locations. These locations will be open for business on Monday.
All over Bossier City today, you could hear the sounds of the nails being driven into the coffin of the oldest bank in Bossier Parish. But the new bank owners say the almost 32,000 BB&T depositors have nothing to worry about.
So we're going to open Monday morning for business, and if you've been a Bossier Bank and Trust customer, you'll walk in there, you're going to see your same teller, and you won't know anything happened.
The new owners say BB&T depositors can keep using their present checks as well as their withdrawal and deposit slips until they run out, and then they'll get new ones from First National Bank. Credit cards will also be good, and the Boss card machine should be working before the weekend is up. All of their bank services will resume normally on Monday. First National Bank officials say there may be some changes in service charges and will contact customers in a few weeks.
We want to tell the customers of BB&T that their money is safe, that First National Bank is now behind their deposits.
But it may be a different story for the 9,400 depositors of the Bank of Commerce. That bank also closed on Friday because of too many bad loans. Merchants are now refusing to accept checks from the Bank of Commerce. No one has bought the bank so far, but negotiations are still underway. So there's hope for a new owner and bank operations could resume on Monday. But if no buyer can be found, customers will get their money from the FDIC, who insure accounts up to $100,000. But if that happens, it may be late next week before depositors see any money.
We checked with the Louisiana State Banking Commission just a few minutes ago to see if they had any future developments concerning the sale of the Bank of Commerce. Now, there's no word so far. They say they hope to line up a buyer by the end of the day.
Peggy, is the FDIC still in town?
In fact, they are very much still in town. In fact, Margaret, they have 70 FDIC employees just at the Bank of Bossier. Now, that number should drop down as the weeks go by, as they get things settled out. They're going to keep a couple of representatives in town, though. Now, as far as the future of the employees of the Bank of Bossier, well, they will still be on as First National Bank employees. No layoffs are anticipated, so that is very good news.
You know, Peggy, some of those Bossier Bank and Trust customers might still have some questions. Is there any way they can get some answers?
They could have quite a few questions. In fact, yes, First National Bank has set up a special hotline to answer any questions about the sale of Bossier Bank and Trust, and also to let the customer know what's going on, what's going to happen to their accounts. Are they going to lose any money? They're not. But the number to call is 226-2267. There will be open tonight and tomorrow.
Okay, and we'll keep watching the other bank.
Text station KSLA 12. Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas. KSLA Television presents Arklatex News 12 Weekend Live.
Good evening. This is the Saturday late edition of Arklatex News 12. I'm Mark Drury. Thanks for joining us. There is still no word tonight from officials of the Federal Depositors Insurance Corporation concerning the possible purchase of the Shreveport Bank of Commerce. The Bank of Commerce and Bossier Bank and Trust were shut down by federal investigators Friday because of losses due to bad loans. FDIC officials say negotiations have been continuing all day surrounding the sale of the Bank of Commerce, but so far no announcement concerning the sale has been made, although an FDIC spokesman said he hopes some news will be forthcoming before the end of the weekend. Early rumors concerning the purchase of the Bank of Commerce spotlighted Hibernia Bank and Trust of Baton Rouge as a possible buyer. Meanwhile, Bossier Bank and Trust, which was also shut down Friday, is already making plans to open Monday morning under a new name. BB&T was bought late Friday night by First National Bank of Shreveport for more than $1.6 million. The acquisition will make First National one of the largest banks in the region, and as Pam Tauscher reports, that prospect made First National officials decidedly upbeat as they formally announced the buyout this morning.
First National Bank of Shreveport is painting a rosy picture of its banking future in the Arklatex, and with good reason. The bank, after emerging as the new owner of Bossier Bank and Trust last night, becomes the largest bank in Shreveport. That's along with its distinction as the oldest bank in Louisiana. In a morning press conference today, First National's president and chief executive officer, Jerry Boughton, reaffirmed that every customer's money is secure in the bank, even those above the FDIC $100,000 limit.
We want to tell the customers of BB&T that their money is safe, that First National Bank is now behind their deposits.
Employees of BB&T were treated to lunch this afternoon by their new employers. Boughton says the 168 employees can be assured their jobs are safe, although he would not comment on the fate of the bank officers there, saying only they are now employees of FDIC. The bad loans at the root of BB&T's demise are now also in FDIC hands. In the meantime, Boughton says all checks and credit cards with the bank are good. A hotline has been established to answer questions from local merchants and customers. That number, 226-2267.
For Bossier Bank and Trust or the Bank of Commerce today, you didn't find them. The two failing banks are no more. They do not exist. What do are the First National Bank Bossier branch and the People's Bank and Trust. Gwen Campbell joins us to talk about the owners of those new banks. Gwen?
Well, Liz, the names are different, but today inside you just couldn't tell that the banks had different owners or new owners. We found transition teams at both the People's Bank and Trust, which is formerly the Bank of Commerce, and at the First National Bank branch in Bossier, formerly Bossier Bank and Trust. Business this morning was steady. People coming in to find out about their money, talking with tellers and clerks, wanting to know if they should stay with the bank or leave. Most of the customers, though, Liz, that we talked to, told us that they were pleased with the new owners and that they would continue to bank at those various banks. And this is good news to the new owners, especially First National Bank, who over the weekend soaked the media with a fierce ad campaign to let their new customers know about the takeover. First National was told of a possible ownership last Wednesday and quickly got that ad campaign together. You probably have seen the ads on television and on the radio and even in the newspapers in this morning Times. They said that they knew as early as last Wednesday, and they just kind of got that ad campaign together in anticipation of the takeover.
Now, Gwen, something like this, it's going to leave the patrons shaky. Even though the banks have been taken over, they have the new owners. It makes you worry a little bit. Should the people who have money in these banks, should they be confident now?
Well, Liz, the people that we talk to, of course, keep in mind, are the new owners, the people that have stepped in to take over these failing banks. The First National Bank, they tell us that they've been around over 100 years, and the People's Bank and Trust, which is out of Natchitoches, they tell us that they agreed to assume over $69 million in accounts at the Bank of Commerce. So to us, and from what they tell us, they seem to be pretty stable, and customers, as they're telling us, have nothing to worry about.
Okay, Gwen, that's good to hear. Thank you. And anytime a bank is shut down or taken over, we always talk about the effects it'll have on the customer and what they're feeling. But changes like this can also be dramatic for the employees of the bank. The Bank of Commerce has been in existence about 11 years and Bossier Bank and Trust for 63. Those banks are gone now, but as Jan Elkins tells us, the memory of the banks will live on in the hearts of the employees.
And I cried because it was like losing a friend.
That's how Sandy felt when she first heard that Bossier Bank and Trust was being closed. She's been with the bank 14 years, and it was family to her. BB&T was used to changes, but none as dramatic as being shut down. The bank was established on this corner in 1923 and called Bossier State Bank. The bank opened with less than $100,000. This 1938 financial statement shows that 15 years later, it had a little more than $800,000. In 1946, the bank moved up the street, in the 50s to Uptown Shopping Center, and in the 70s to its present location. Sandy is excited about still having a job since First National took over, but she appreciates the past and what she learned from BB&T.
They've raised me. I started out right out of school, and they've raised me, they've taught me, they've trained me, and we've been one family.
Other BB&T family members agree with her.
I spent 12 wonderful, wonderful years. I can truly say that I enjoyed every day that I worked for Bossier Bank Trust Company.
There have been some tears and some fears, but while those are now gone for most people, the memories are still there, especially for people like Edward Glover, who spent 39 years with BB&T before leaving last year to work at another bank, and for Joe Wagoner, who served on the bank's board and was a stockholder.
That stock has no value. For all intents and purposes is worthless.
But he says the 60-plus years Bossier Bank and Trust was in existence was not worthless.
The bank has been a fine bank. The bank has served the community very well. But people should not forget that this bank has had a great part in the development of Bossier and has made its contribution.
And certainly those won't be. But still, on Friday, a long, proud heritage of banking died. And today it was as if it never existed. Jan Elkins, Channel 3 News.
And today it was business as usual at the new First National Bank Shreveport Bossier Division. The 180 Bossier Bank and Trust employees are excited and positive about the new changes.
There was uncertainty and wonder last Friday. There was the smiling face of confidence today. 2 local banks that were closed last week because of bad loans were reopened this morning under new owners and new management. But most of the workers at the banks were still the same. So are most of the bank's services. First National Bank will still pay on Bossier Bank and Trust checks. People's Bank of Natchitoches will do the same for checks from the Bank of Commerce. Credit cards issued by the old banks will be good until the new owners get replacements out. The message the new owners most wanted to get out today was new customers welcome to the family. Your money is safe again.
And they're dealing with the same people.
That means everyone who worked for Bossier Bank and Trust now works for First National Bank, though some of the top officers from BB&T may leave in the next few weeks. You can also see signs of the change here at what used to be BB&T's Boss automated teller systems. You couldn't use these machines over the weekend, but people with a Boss card can use them now. And what's more, in a couple of weeks, they'll have access to First National's Pulse Liberty machines. People who've been banking with First National all along, in a couple of weeks, will have access to this one. First National will also be paying checks drawn on old BB&T accounts. The biggest difference for Bossier Bank and Trust customers is they now have a larger bank behind them. That street runs both ways. First National Bank is now a larger bank than it was last Friday. It took over $150 million in deposits and $60 million in loans. Just the good ones. The bad loans that brought BB&T down are the problem of the FDIC. The biggest benefit for First National Bank is it's now the only Shreveport bank with offices in Bossier City. Officers believe expanding to a new market will be good for business. They're banking on it. In Bossier City, this is Carl Pendley, Arklatex News 12.